see if that works. What? Laughing at? Did it work?
Just fine. And we'll see if that works.
Appears to have worked.
Now hit. Perfect. All right. The sad thing is that as how many times we have done this, you still don't know whether or not we are live.
I don't think I'm ever gonna know.
That to me is just hilarious. It's super hilarious. But how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I am back from my short hiatus, still, of course, dealing with no sleep. But today we're going to talk about the Roaring 20s, which refers to the decade in the 1920s of the Western society and Western culture took a swing. And we're going to be looking at the Roaring 20s as it might be happening again in reference to 2020s. Ooh, exciting. So we got a lot to talk about today. As per usual, we're going to start out by poking myself in the eye. And then we're going to be looking at a few different stocks to run over with you guys. And then, of course, we are absolutely going to be touching bases on Ride. Get out, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we'll be going over some E3 content. So but if the ship is burning, don't go down with the captain because he already fucking left. All right. Right to you, buddy.
Okay. So I'm going to add Ride, I guess, before McAD real quick. And
just hit it now. Who needs to go in order? Tell them what you told me.
Let's talk about the Roaring 20s. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Roaring 20s. I think it's important. People have mentioned it, but
so is the fact that people need to know what's going on with Ride, especially if they have investments.
That's true. That's true. Continue. They should. So this is 2000 or no, I'm sorry. 1922. 1922. So almost 100 years ago. 99 and a half. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me go ahead and find out how to.
On the very long-term 100-year chart, the Dow Jones Industry Index moved in the upper area. I can barely read that text.
What the hell?
Just so you know. It's on YouTube right now because you still haven't
is it
screen
super,
yet. So
like
gotcha. It's a little like, tiny. Is it small? It's a little tiny. Now that could just be because on YouTube I got a small screen. But anyways, continue.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So let's cover what we know, right? In 1918 to 1920, there's the flu pandemic, right? You heard about COVID. Everyone's like, it's a 100-year pandemic. This was the pandemic 100 years ago. Not displayed on this chart. It's not showing it on this chart. Oh, geez. But what we can see is what happened after the pandemic. So the pandemic occurs, and then after the pandemic, the Dow just goes from 1922 to 1930, 1929 and a half right here, just through the roof. Roaring 20s. And then it falls like all the way back below 1922. Who knows what it looks like back then? Nobody knows except for people with the data. But so this jump, this is a substantial jump. Where are we at right here? About 100 something you're looking
less
at?
Less than 100 maybe.
Right? And then this thing climbs up to what? 500?
Maybe 700,
600?
Yeah, 5 to 7, something around there. Yeah. It's difficult to tell with this graph, but
it is,
yes.
a big jump, right? A really big jump. The Roaring 20s. So I have this theory that I'm working on, and all my other theories have proven to be wrong, so why stop there? that we're coming into the Roaring 20s. We're going to start seeing, clothes things going on like that. We're going to start seeing all kinds of Roaring 20s type stuff. You get like the 90s.
Are we going to be looking
80s.
at the positive or the negative parts of the Roaring 20s?
Us or everybody?
Everybody.
I don't know. Everybody
Just
probably
generalization.
Probably everything, but I think positive wise, we're going to see a lot with the market and the economy and with technology and just a similar space. Because I mean, what inventions came out in the 1920s? And see, that doesn't work either. It wouldn't be what came out in the 1920s.
Television.
This is a better one. It's
refrigerator.
What inventions are out right now that we're about to start experiencing in the next 10 years? What new technology is about to just ripple across our society?
Those glasses.
The glasses
that we talked about. Because I saw another video with them that was actually really, really neat. And it kind of went along with the one that we watched the last time we went over it. Those kind of like Google type glasses or whatever company was making them to project your tech support guy in front of you. And he can actually see what you see, but then also give you direction on what to do and what to touch, which is kind of cool. Like it had like a little projector, so you'd have the image on the wall while you're working on the generator or whatever the hell it is you're doing. So that was kind of neat.
Very, very. That would not only be good for the average person to use as a support call, that would be extremely efficient for
efficient.
Any tradesperson who's out there right now. Somebody's working on HVAC, somebody's working on generators, somebody's doing solar installs, somebody's doing electrical, somebody's doing plumbing, whatever it is, to be able to contact the boss or the project manager, whoever the hell it is that has more experience and knowledge than you do in this. There's plenty of instances in the trade industries, and I'm sure lots of industries, where you're out there and you haven't seen it before. You don't know, but there's a guy back at the office, Jim. Jim knows. Jim always knows. Jim's like 97 years old. He's seen everything underneath the sun. He's super bitter. You know what I mean? He's always bitter. He's always like, the world's fun and shit. You know what I mean? But
keep the noise down.
But he knows everything, and he thinks that everyone's stupid because we fell away from the the old school rules or whatever. Anyways, being able to slap a pair of glasses onto Jim's eyes. And the new guy, Bob, who's like 22 years old, is out there like, I've never seen this nonsense. Puts it on. Jim's able to look at it, walk him through it really quick. Versus right now, the best way to do that is grab like a cell phone and try and take a video. But let's be honest. Most people suck at that.
It works really well in reference to that because you look at the service technicians are going to be able to service more people more efficiently. Therefore, they can get more clients. They can retain clients because you no longer have that window of, we'll be there 8 to 12. No, I'll be there at 10. Like you will know when I am going to be there. And then you also have the same thing like with the associates that are actually there. Let's say if an associate is doing the actual work, or if you are helping a customer with, let's say, their POS system, and you say, all right, you do this, this, and this, and they do something completely different that breaks the machine, the glasses potentially could be, being recorded, that live stream to that technician, so that company is safe as well in reference to they're not the ones at fault because you told them to do this and they turned around and hit the red button rather than the blue one. So it really could be astronomically changing the way we have service technicians. I mean, it will. The same thing with doctors. I mean, we already have the virtual calls and the video calls for doctors. So
it's like any large corporation. If you got a problem on your computer for years now, it's very likely that tech support, especially if they're not right down the hall from you. You know what I mean? Even then, they're just remote desktoping into your computer. And fixing the damn problem, because trying to walk you through it is just nonsense. Unless there's security protocol and all that kind of shit that's preventing it from happening that way. But the ability to basically RDP into any person's eyes in your organization, dang, you know what I mean? That's cheddar.
Yeah,
that's cheddar right there.
And considering how considering how different the the youth is today. Like for instance, we were grateful when we had dial up, but we were even more grateful when we got DSL. But youth today don't know that pain, but they do know VR. They know computer gaming, console gaming. They know 4K gaming. They know the good stuff. So realistically, it could only get better. Yes, some of them do eat Tide Pods. Yes, some of them are really
No,
dumb.
some of them
but
ate Tide Pods, not do eat Tide Pods.
but you look at
It's a
those
one-off.
those other individuals that are actually doing the learning and attempting to better themselves because they want to succeed in life. Those are the individuals to watch for, and those are going to be the ones that are going to help develop those types of technologies that are really going to allow us to continue into these roaring 20s.
Yeah, where everyone's wearing augmented reality. I don't know if it comes in glasses.
Now we're talking SAO.
Well,
so the second SAO. No. The third one. No. It was the second one. The second SAO, for those of you that are anime fans, for Sword Art Online, they had the new system that was augmented reality, and it was in the glasses. So it would basically scan your surroundings at the park, and it would change the image through the glasses so that it was actually more to that specific game that you were playing. And you were still able to interact with people. And the fun thing with it is that they would do like raid parties where they would pick a specific geographical location so that you would know where to go. And that is the only place that it would be done. Therefore, it keeps it safe. And you don't have idiots that used to play Pokemon Go and walk in front of cars because they're looking at their phone. I mean, you're still able to see everything, but you're also seeing these, for instance, mobs or monsters or boss fights that are coming up. And something like that would really make people more, healthy. Not to say that it would make them athletic, but it would make them healthy.
Especially if you could kite the boss or kite the mobs.
Yeah.
It'd just be randomly going around kiting mobs and then leaving so they're not where people expected them. Screwing everything up. Making sure everyone's having to go in front of Lee Kim's Nails or H-Win Deli, the hometown deli. I just pull a bunch of mobs over to the deli. All of a sudden, this place has a bunch of kids.
This is where they're getting their money.
Hell yeah. And you're going to see shit like that. Why would you not see stuff like that? Augmented reality will, I thought about it more over the weekend, and I didn't look into direct stocks on it, but I watch a lot of sci-fi, I guess. So here's the thought, right? Like, you got the glasses. You got the watch. I thought the watch, like the Apple Watch and the Android Watch, I thought, what a dumb idea. It's just not going to happen because I still have to have the cell phone in my pocket for it to work. But one day I'm not going to have to. And
correct.
When that happens, that's not such a bad idea. And in addition to that, what if they end up putting a projector onto your watch?
Enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, little bitty holographic, maybe just on the wall.
And you got to think too, though. I mean, the difference in the advancement of the technology, because I don't know if you remember this game device. I forget what it was called, but it was red. It was designed on a stand to be at a desk or to be like laying down on the ground, and it had a controller that came with it, and you would look into it, and the games were all just lines, but it
lines.
was like 3D, like I forget what that was called, but that's where we started.
Yeah, the Nintendo's VR was
like that's like
and Nintendo's VR isn't the only one too. You know where Nintendo's failing at right now? I thought of this over the weekend. It's not related to stocks, but it is because it's on the list later. What is Nintendo?
Well, it's on the list now, ladies and gents.
No, Nintendo is on the list technically. So Nintendo could totally take over this just because of nostalgia and all that stuff. But the Power Glove, remember the Power Glove? Imagine a complete redesign of the Power Glove to where it fit like a glove, like a nice like an OJ Simpson glove. You know what I mean? Like a nice form-fitting glove, and it worked with all the VR headsets that are currently in existence. Nintendo doesn't need to make a VR headset. They just need to make the glove. You make the Power Glove too.
I mean, they have
That's
the if they have the rights to that and the technology, and that thing resembles so much of Ready Player One that people would be all over it. I mean,
I
those
get
things
what
still go
instantly.
for over $100
Do they?
on eBay, and they're even going brand new on eBay for $4,000.
Oh my God, someone's got a brand new one.
Yeah. A
That's crazy.
1989 Mattel Nintendo NES Power Glove, size large, new sealed VGA graded, $3,824.15 on eBay.
What's crazy about that, I guess, is one, when the Power Glove came out, it really wasn't shit. Now it was a big deal to everybody, but it wasn't this huge breakthrough of technology. If they came out with a Power Glove right now that was form-fitting and sleek, and it worked with the Oculus, and it worked with the Steam VR and the PlayStation VR, and it worked as interchangeable with all these different current VR headsets that are out there, and it was lighter than any of the other controllers that was out there. If it was, they just got to find a way to put the batteries in, I guess. But if they made that thing super nice and form-fitting right now, and designed it to match with the current controls, that where you're able to switch it to each VR, I'm telling you, it would be huge. And they can make it. It's not like it's impossible.
Yeah, the batteries would be easy though. I mean, especially if you're taking into consideration the size of an Apple Watch these days or Samsung Watch. Like putting the battery, no problem. Making it dockless, or not dockless, but like chargeable without the power cord, so it has a docking station to set on. Like it'd be super easy with today's technology. And they're even testing those VR games right now where they actually have the stand that you are strapped to, and it has like a concave surface.
Oh yeah, you can run in place and all that.
Yeah, you can run in place. Imagine adding those gloves.
Oh yeah.
So you can actually like grip things and play things. Like what was it? Was it BioShock that came out with that new VR, or was it, who was it? Like it was a few months back or last year even. But it was a newer VR, and it was a popular game title, and it was a new one that came out, and they made it solely VR.
Half-Life, Alex.
That's it.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it,
Yeah.
Those that had access to VR loved it. So
there's just things that you could do in a game like that you can't do in a regular game, like reaching out of a window and beating somebody with a club. You know what I mean? You can't.
You mentioned Grand Theft Auto VR.
Oh
my God! You get that little kid out of his room with that hooker.
It's coming. All right, so the Roaring 20s. Are we there? I don't know. More to come. We'll follow up on this story in 5 years and let you know. I think that we're here, though.
Fair.
They had the pandemic, and then they had their recovery, and their recovery went for 10 years. We had our pandemic, and now we are having our recovery. And I think that we're just going to see, like, it's going to be an amazing time. It'll rival the 80s. I don't know. That's my story. Now we'll cover Ride.
MCD or Ride?
We'll cover
We
Ride.
never went over MCD, though.
No, I have it in order. Ride is next because you brought it up. I didn't bring it up. I might have brought it up, but it wasn't. So Ride has some problems. As if you're watching this, you probably already know. Most people probably already know.
Some problems?
Yeah, it has some problems. I mean, it's not.
This stock is going to go down so low that it's going to be like that mine in Australia.
Oh,
if you guys want to pick up a failing company, Ride is what you want to buy.
I don't know. That's so cold to say. They're so nice. I really love their story. I want to root for them.
Nothing against the product, but
there's no product.
There is no product, and their management sucked, which is more than likely why they're gone. It's why they quit.
So the CEO,
they took their money and they're gone.
Was it the CEO and the CFO left? Was it the CFO? Yeah, it's the CEO and the CFO that stepped down. So look, I don't know everything to know about this, just our own journey that we've watched with this. I think we picked up on Ride heavily when the Santa Fe 250 or whatever was going
Yeah, the
on.
Santa Fe 250 race, and we were rooting for him, and we even watched a video with everyone, and we were like, awesome, this could be a real rugged electric truck. Well, you know what? The Ford Lightning is a rugged electric truck.
It is, but that's not.
I mean,
Ride isn't failing due to its competitors, or at least based off of what we've covered on it so far.
their
Ride's
competitors
failing.
can get stock and advertise and sell stuff. So yeah, it's failing due to its competitors.
And it's failing because they entered a race that they weren't able to win. They acted as if that they could win it though.
And if they had one, there probably was a nice prize pool to kind of help keep the company going.
I don't think it was.
So, if you look at it realistically, if they won, they probably would have gotten a few different advertisements and sponsors for like next year's race. So it could have been beneficial for them. I mean, shit, they might as well just go enter it in a couple of solar car races and see what they can do.
Yeah. So the guy says like. They're basically, I think what they said was, we can't make the cars, and they didn't have enough orders. They're like, we don't have enough orders, and we can't make the cars, and shit's messed up for like a year, and during that year, we're going to run out of money before the year's up. And so then it's the other question. So let's say they get a bunch of orders, right? But they know it's not enough to sustain the company through the production of the orders. They can't take those orders, right? I don't know if they can or not, because I don't know what to trust and what to believe on this anymore. But if they don't believe they're going to be in business for the next year without some help, either one of two things happens. Either one, well, I guess three. The Reddit crowd comes to their savior and bails them out. That doesn't sound likely to happen. Someone comes in with some money. Now, keep in mind, this is a SPAC, so money's already kind of been put in. And I guess what they were planning on is that the stock, I think what they were originally planning on is that the stock was going to go through the roof after they, because they started all this when the market was screaming. And then they were going to sell off a bunch of shares and use it to help float the company and, then maybe make it to a point of,
the gamble makes sense. It makes sense in reference to that. But, at the same time, when they go bankrupt, because it's going to happen.
It's so horrible, man.
What do you want me to say? Like, it sucks. Yes. I'm not saying that they're going to go bankrupt because, I want them to. No, these are good people. They need jobs. However, it's an electric car company. And if it's going to go under, you never know. Elon Musk might show up, buy it, make it part of Tesla. Maybe he wants those specific engineers, but he wants them for dirt cheap. So he's going to wait until the company's ready to go.
Maybe he wants the facility, but he'd have to retool it. So I doubt it. This is what I do know. So there are some things that we do know about this. The EV market. Okay. The .com bubble may be an extreme situation, right? 2,000 million companies and like 5 of them made it, right? Except for things like Ask Jeeves and Yahoo somehow made it, right? Yahoo's great, by the way.
Dogpile, yeah.
AOL still there. Like companies made it, but there was so many, and they went public, and then they were, 20 times earnings, all this crazy stuff. They're going to be the next. This AOL, this new mail service has a slot machine inside of it, and it's going to take big money from slot machines. They didn't even know how to market it and profit off the internet completely at that time, right? So EV is not the exact same story, but similar in the idea that Roaring 20s. When I was asking you that question and you brought up the eyeglasses, the augmented reality I brought up, but you did bring up eyeglasses, which is augmented reality. Augmented reality, but even more so, because this includes augmented reality. It's electric vehicles and self-driving or autonomous AI and autonomous vehicles, be that a vacuum or a car. Like that's the next 10 years, we're going to see a ton of it.
The self-driving cars are definitely still a good thing as well, because you got to take into consideration how many taxi companies, and I don't want to say this because it would put a lot of people out of work and out of business, but how many taxi companies, especially in New York, if they had fully functional automated vehicles and they could put a dummy robot, for instance, in the driver's seat and had it completely fenced off. Like imagine like what I think Total Recall or even the older Judge Dredd as an example. But something similar to that as far as a visual. There's so many taxi cab drivers that would lose their job. Obviously, there's some that would still support local and still want a real person. Like, for instance, I wouldn't trust a damn robot, but
I would.
They would always be on time in reference to their shift. They would never get sick. You wouldn't have to give them any vacation days. You don't have to give them benefits. Yeah, we're going to be fucked in the future.
we are. But with all the EV companies, they're not all going to make it. Just like all the internet companies that came out, they didn't make it. We'll shave off 70% probably, and that's maybe a very conservative number, that 70% of these EV companies are going to turn into dust.
Very good probability. However, before they turn into dust, they're going to be able to sell off any patents that they made, which would be good in reference to, that specific individual, especially any alternate EV company that wants to come in and take advantage of what they had. Because again,
I think that's the other percentage. I don't think 30% of the EV companies are going to make it. I think that what you're talking about, 70 are going to go to shit, right? And this is just a round number. There's no basis for this number. But with this number, if we're saying this number, 70% disappear into oblivion. They're gone. They're dust. They don't exist anymore, right? 10% control the market heavily. Like another 5% are like the Mint Mobiles. You know what I mean? Of the EV market in the future.
Mint Mobile. That thing's going to be around forever because Ryan Reynolds is awesome.
If he buys that deli, it's over. But then 10%, that's what you're talking about. That's the companies that get bought out for patents, get bought out for, experienced trade labor, or assets or what have you. Like that's that percentage. And I guess the real question that comes down to on this is do you believe this is going to make it? This is going to turn to dust, or is it going to get gobbled up? If it turns to dust, it's gone. If it gets gobbled up, it's doubtful that it will get gobbled up. And there will come a point where it will be less than what the stock was worth when it gets gobbled up, right? It's not going to get gobbled up at its height from Tesla. Tesla's not going to look at it and this thing jumps up to 36 or 40 and Tesla goes, I'll take it.
That's the problem with the Roaring 20s too, though, you don't have to take into consideration, doesn't necessarily impact you, but
I don't know.
People always specify, the rich get richer. Well, obviously, because one, they have money. Two, when other companies fail, they can pick them up and they have that actual equity to go in and keep them afloat and do good marketing and take over because they had all the money to begin with. So if it's gonna be like the Roaring 20s of the 1900s, why not have it the Roaring 20s of the 2000s? And it's gonna be interesting. It's a good way to look at it because as we've discussed as well, we've had a plague type incident every 100 years for the past I think on record for the past 300 years. Just over. Yeah. There's 3. I think it was Spanish flu, the influenza, or swine flu or something. I don't remember exactly, but I know it's every 100 years. And
the Spanish flu was the 100-year one. The flu.
And if it, if history serves itself correctly, and people don't like this term, history repeats itself, and the reason it does is because people are stupid. That's why history repeats itself. Well, look at the pandemic of the 1800s. It was probably the Black Plague.
Oh, jeez. Bubonic. The
bubonic plague. Just do.
No, he said 1890. Son of a bitch.
Don't use the word pandemic.
All right. How about plague? Spell plague wrong. 1812 to 1818, the Ottoman plague. 300,000 lives, and population was a lot less. So that's I don't know what that equates.
I mean, but you know, take into consideration this here real quick. So 300,000 lives lost in the 1800s due to a plague. And this is slightly off topic, but we have like, I think it was over 500,000 plus with COVID, and it's still going. And that's because people are able to travel and spread it everywhere. It's not over.
It's over now. You didn't hear?
Really?
Yeah, I got a memo.
All right.
I'm in an email group. I'm in an email chain.
Oh, yeah, with the Illuminati?
No. They told me to buy gold, silver, and that the plague is over.
They also tell you that the prince needed money to get his kingdom back?
I'm not sure if it was the prince.
No, that was last week's email.
I think it was the prince's aid and coming aid to the prince. Yeah, that was last week's. That's right. The saga continues now. Past ride on to McDonald's, MCD. You want to tell us about this company?
I mean, if you guys don't know the Golden Arches, then where the fuck do you live? But giving you a generalized overview, and I apologize about the swearing, but I don't give a damn. It's just what I do. Let's take a look here. McDonald's Corporation engages in the operation and franchising of restaurants. Oh, you think? It operates through the following segments: U.S. international operated markets and international development licensed markets and corporate. The U.S. segment focuses its operations in the United States. Well, yeah, it's U.S. operation. I'm not going to continue reading this. It was founded April 15th, 1955 by Raymond Albert Kroc. It's a bunch of crock of shit. If you don't know the company, get yourself a Happy Meal.
Did you watch that documentary? Ray Kroc or something, or Kroc or Ray with the dude in it?
Nope.
Oh, come on. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, wasn't it?
What's his name?
Kevin, or the guy from Dances with the Wolves, right?
No. Was he
Kevin Costner? Or
no,
wasn't he the guy that did it?
No. Ray Kroc.
Movie. Yeah, founder. It's right there. 2016.
The founder. It's the guy. You'll know when you see him. That guy, Michael Keaton.
Oh, Michael Keaton.
It's Batman. Batman. That's a great movie. You gotta watch it.
I haven't seen it, but I also still haven't watched Wolves of Wall Street either. War Dogs is great though.
War Dogs is heavy hitting movie right there. Yeah, watch Wolf of Wall Street. Have you watched Wall Street?
Nope.
You should watch Wall Street too. And Wall Street 2.
I'm watching it right now. You got a ticker going.
This is a chart.
On the stream. Thank you very much.
So McDonald's is in the news. McDowell's is in the news right now. Because
they got their Big Mac. We got our Big Mick.
No, somebody was looking at a Big Mac on one of their computers or something, and the hackers got in there, and they were like, we're going to tell the world if you don't, or maybe they just locked up control of their data, or they captured data, whatever it was. They got a ransomware attack. Remember the oil pipeline? Remember what happened with the oil? You want to see that kind of shit with Big Macs? You want to see that? You want kids screaming in the streets for French fries and Happy Meals?
I mean, if kids are screaming in the street for French fries and Happy Meals, their parents need to be taught a lesson anyways.
Hey, look, this is the fact. McDonald's has the thing up there that says billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people served, or whatever the number is. And that's because they have sold those Big Macs. There's people going there. A lot of people go there.
A lot of people go there. So, for instance, even my family have gone. But
you may not like their parents, but it doesn't matter.
Throw a tantrum in the street.
In the streets, sir. In the streets.
But if there was a ransomware attack, I mean, let's look back. No ransomware included.
Kids with signs.
You remember? They're going to call themselves the Little Rascals Association.
Yeah.
The LRA. So the LRA, if you remember back when Hostess was potentially going out of
Yeah,
business,
that was a
and
sad time.
they stopped manufacturing Twinkies. Do you know how much Twinkies went for on eBay? I would be not at all shocked to see an astronomical price of $100 Big Mac because they're not making it anymore.
Well, there's a joke. There's a joke about inflation and you know, like a stable thing. Where do you put your money? And it's in the Big Mac. The Big Mac is the most stable thing to put your money in. McDonald's coin, I guess. Anyways, so somebody hacked McDonald's. The McDonald's, I think, is like, we don't play that shit. We're not gonna do nothing. We don't care. And
Homie, don't play that.
my guess is what they got is people subscribe to like the mailing list of McDonald's and stuff. So they probably got maybe name, email, and maybe a phone number, maybe an address for coupons. I doubt it. It's probably mainly emails, names, and it's probably that's it. You know what I mean? What else are they getting? Their spending habits at McDonald's? I guess you
How
could
many Happy Meals have
extrapolate
been
their
purchased
income.
this week?
Yeah. And based off of that, maybe you could come up with like an income profile. I don't know.
I mean,
It's,
just to
it's an
clarify, do you
email
know
list.
if it was just the email list, like
No.
it wasn't their POS system?
No, let's see. Let's take a look here. Here we're gonna try it a little bit easier. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go news. We're gonna type in MCD, and we're gonna type in ransom. Put McDonald's and ransom in the same sentence. McDonald's says hackers were shut out of the system. No ransom was paid. Okay, yeah. And it wasn't American emails either. They're like Vietnamese emails or something. MCD. Let me try spelling all the way out. Mac. I don't know how to spell it. Ransom. Come on, chop, chippy chop. There we go. All right.
System. So it stole. So here you go. McDonald's Corp said hackers stole some data from its systems. Let's say in markets including the U.S., South Korea, Taiwan, and another example. Cyber criminals infiltrating high-profile global companies. The burger chain said Friday that it recently hired external consultant to investigate the unauthorized activity on an internet security system prompted by a specific incident in which the unauthorized access was cut off a week after it was identified. So they got access to this information for a week before anybody noticed. Do you know how much money somebody could have gotten if that was a financial corporation? Like, imagine if they got into McDonald's payroll.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. That would be a very.
I mean, obviously, we're very thankful it didn't happen, because obviously, McDonald's is a very large corporation. They provide hundreds of thousands of jobs to people, worldwide. So we don't want a company like that to go out of business. I mean, that would hit the bottom line in reference to more people that actually need that unemployment. However, luckily, guess what, guys? Wendy's, Taco Bell, Sonic, they're all fucking hiring. Go get a new job.
Yeah, not for long.
You got experience.
As long as a human is cheaper than a robot, you got a job. Not for long. Not for long. It's the roaring 20s.
Compute.
The robots are coming in the roaring 20s.
Oh.
They're coming for your jobs. They took our jobs. Took our jobs. So I need to remember to look up RTX and Crowd and all of those other cyber security plays because I think that they may start seeing some good stuff.
Give me a sec. I'll be right back. I use the restroom, guys. Jerry's going to take over.
Okay. So McDonald's gets the data breach, right? And shrugs it off like it's nothing. They're like, they didn't get nothing. And then we're not paying them nothing. And we don't care. And it barely even affected America. And yeah, so stock is up. I happened to jump in some McDonald's because, you know, it looks like if you take out the ransomware attack on this, that's COVID, right? Yep. If you take out the ransomware attack and you just look at recovery alone, I mean, McDonald's has already been selling. You know, it's not like they just started with the recovery. I mean, look, their June fake out was not too bad for them, and then past that point, they just grew, and now they fell after October, which a lot of uncertainty is in the air for a variety of things, and they're back. So I'm not long on McDonald's whatsoever, but I think a short amount of time right here can pretty nice. So I'm just looking at this and going, okay, I think we can get a little bit out of this somewhere in this general region right here. This is it's a color I don't normally use, so I don't think it's something that it's not. How to do that? All right, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see it there. So I'm taking that risk. I'm taking that bet. I'm also wanting to go back and look at those cybersecurity things, because definitely missed a little action on that because it took too long to get there. But a lot of talk about cybersecurity right now. It's in the news and it's the big thing. So I'll pull this up real quick. Next on the list is just a slight update on, well, there's these guys, right? Let's see, elliptic.co. So I think these are the guys that track down the Colonial pipeline situation. They get hacked with a ransomware, right? They pay out like 4 million or whatever it is in Bitcoin, and there's a big gas shortage. It puts a little bit of a crimp in some travel plans for some folks, and a little bit of fear at the dinner table for some late night family conversations about the impending doom of the world. And these guys track it down and find out what's up, and actually go over here. I believe this is the current address right here. Second. All right. Anyways, so the thing about Bitcoin that is kind of neat, this is where it started, it looks like. 3 transactions, 75 Bitcoin. And then you can actually just use a hash and search through for transactions on the Bitcoin ledger. So I always thought that was a weird thing. Like when Bitcoin in 2017 or 19 or whichever one it was, started getting really big, and there was a lot of talk, a lot of FUD, you could say, about, you know, Bitcoin is just for criminals, and this is what's enabling people to sell drugs and people and guns, and just the worst of humanity uses it because it's secretive in nature, right? Well, the thing about Bitcoin is when you make a transaction, there is an address on a ledger as to who made the transaction between who and when it was made and for how much. And then after that transaction is made, you can also see the, let me go back one more. So here's the original. You can actually go down and see that 75 came in, and then 63 went one address and 11 went to another address. And so click on it and I can see where it went, and then I can follow Okay, well, they got 130 that they totally received. That's a lot of Bitcoin, right? And so the 63 that came in, almost the exact same number, then went here. And where's that 63 at? There it is. Then it went here. I'm doing this right. Looks like it's one of these two. Very similar now, right? Very similar, but pretty sure it's this one. And then it looks like it moved again. And I could just be going in circles, but isn't this exciting as I click these?
Not
and
really.
Follow the trail of the Colonial pipeline money. All these addresses. So all these addresses that touch this money, I can now look at these addresses and follow their other transactions and kind of see what these guys have been up to, what's shaking, you know what I mean? Where they're going, what it is they're doing. And I forgot where, but yeah, so we're just keep going back and forth. It looks like whatever. Point is, you could follow these transactions. You can follow the wallets along which you get an address, and you can kind of see where it's going. Now, does that catch somebody? No. But if then they, you know, followed the address and then went to Binance US and said, hey, these guys did some criminal shit, and that address is on Binance's chain and not private, then I'm sure they could pull it. Or if you then tried to withdraw that money to your bank account, you don't think they'll be sitting right at your door watching for that transaction or any transactions coming out of that wallet. So my point is that Bitcoin is actually good because everyone can see what's happened, which is always what made it kind of funny that people's complaint about Bitcoin was it was going to allow criminals to act in the dark when it's so much safer. You could track it so much easier, and you can't cash moving around. You can't really track cash unless it's coming in and out of the bank. So that's all I got on the Darkside hack and the McDonald's ransom and the crazy nonsense. Next on the list is my favorite. Not my favorite, but it's been my recent favorite. BBSI. I got a lot of lines drawn here. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
sure
do.
what the hell's going on.
That's a really fucked up Etch a Sketch, I'll tell you that much.
It is. It is. I'm not sure what's happening with BBSI, but I believe that something is about to happen. And my guess is that thing that's about to happen is going to be good. It's the Mac Daddy, because I drew these lines that pointed upwards. And so since I drew them upwards, should go up, right? I guess, maybe.
Because you drew the lines? I mean, if that's how it works, I'm going to get a stock and I need you to draw a line.
If you just draw the line upward, then you just draw it yourself. You just draw it upward, stock goes up.
It's like ants. The bar sees the line in the way and it tries to go around it, so it goes up for a short time.
And so you have labor, right? BBSI is basically a more selective temp agency, with higher skill workers, I guess, sometimes. Yeah, so I just feel like that's what people need right now is workers for jobs.
Let's give them a little bit of a background on BBSI real quick as well.
Sure.
So for those of you that are unaware, Business Services, Inc. engages in the provision of business management solutions for small and mid-sized companies. It develops a management platform that integrates a knowledge-based approach from management consulting industry with tools from the human resource outsourcing industry. It focuses on professional, employer, and staffing and recruiting services. The company was founded in 1951 and is headquartered in Vancouver, Washington.
Canada. Wait, no, Vancouver, Washington?
Vancouver, Washington.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Should probably know that.
The more you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Which Vancouver's nice. I like Vancouver.
It's big, but also small.
It is, yeah. Always had a nice fireworks display. I always like that. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of for hire signs, right? I'm playing Apex the other day, and this guy's like, I got to get a job, but I'm on unemployment, and this guy's trying to offer me $9 an hour, and there's no way I'm gonna do that. And it's who knows? Who knows what he's gonna do? You know what I mean? How well things are gonna turn out, but hopefully. So like a lot of people, right, are like working paycheck to paycheck, right? And
True.
so if they lose a job tomorrow, they have to go replace that paycheck instantly, or they're not going to eat the
Yeah.
next week, right? Because they're working paycheck to paycheck. They don't have money saved up. They don't have time to be able to go out and negotiate a better pay or to find and locate a new job. It's a lot of other people. If they leave their job or lose their job, they got at least 3 months to be able to go find another job. And it's not just that they have the time to go find another job. It's that when they go to meet with the McDonald's, right, worker, right? So I'm used to making $10 an hour, right? I got a week-to-week paycheck. I go to McDonald's and McDonald's says $9 an hour. I used to make 10, but McDonald's is like, no, 9. We'll give you 9. You come on board, you flip burgers, it'll be great. You're gonna love it at McDonald's. That's why the commercials say I'm loving it. Like it's fact, bro. Yeah,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're slaving you.
yeah. Flip those burgers, right? That's option 1. Now option 2 is you have 3 months worth of payroll up, and you get in negotiations, and the guy tells you 9, and you tell him, go to hell, bro. I want your job. I got 3 months. You don't tell me you got 3 months, but you're in a position to negotiate when you are living week to week. And you have, in anything in life, when you have to make an instant decision, you are not in a position to negotiate, which forces people into bluffing or into folding or grabbing their knees, whatever you want to call it, and you take whatever you can get. It's just like when a stock is falling and it's falling through the floor and you're like, oh my God, I got to get out. And you try and get out, but you can't get out and it keeps falling. And so then you go for less. Stock's at
You're
100.
talking about GameStop again.
It's everything. It's the same things happening with, the person who's going to get a job. But if you have enough breathing room, right? Then if that stock's falling down to the floor, you could say, you know what, it's okay. I know it's going to bounce back. It's long term now. I'm holding it. It's okay. Somebody needs a job, but they got, 3-6 months or whatever until they have to get that job, then they're able to negotiate differently during that time. Somebody tells them 9, they go, no, 15 or I walk. 15, what are you talking about, bro? Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? But he can say that. The guy who's doing week to week, if he says that, it's a bluff. He says 15, they're like, no, get out of here. It's like, no, I'll take it for 9. Nope, too late, pal. Like he has no power to negotiate. So it's a pretty bad example with a McDonald's worker because I doubt they're going into heavy negotiations for the hourly rates. But take it up a few more notches where it's not a set standard that everyone makes the same pay, and there is a consideration on what the pay is going to be, and having to replace an income instantly versus having the time to replace it creates that buffer. Anyways, so I understand where he's at on unemployment, but I think there's a lot of people who their buffer's running out with unemployment just organically without states shutting it down. And I think BBSI is going to start picking up because they didn't get that job they wanted, and they're not taking the $9 McDonald's, so they're going to BBSI. They're filling out the forms. They're doing the tests or whatever, and they're like, this is the level income I want. This is the skill I got. And BBSI is like, we'll see what we can find for you. And then they throw them some options. And now these guys can go make, temporarily $13 an hour. I don't know. Anyways, I think BBSI is about to experience a renaissance of sorts. Very small one. That, and it appears as though it's going sideways and about to make a move based off of these lines. Once again, I drew this line, so it's got to be happening. Of course, it could be going the exact opposite down through here, but I doubt it. If you look at it over the long run, and if you look at it before COVID, it was already doing well. So 2018, I don't know what the hell. I guess Trump becomes president and it doesn't do well. I don't know what that means.
That was 2016, man.
This is 2018. Oh, when he became president. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what caused the 2018 drop. Looks like it does it occasionally for a fair amount. But I don't think that we're at that point. It could be actually, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm taking the gamble on BBSI again too, because
I
nothing
mean, if
like
it's
a
worth the
spider web.
risk, who knows? Yeah.
Well, they
I
do
mean,
look. I've had direct experience with BBSI on both ends of the candle, I guess, or whatever. Like I've worked with BBSI directly, and I have hired through BBSI a lot. And I've had some instances in dealing with those guys that I've just been like, oh my God, what is the deal? What is wrong with you people? Like while dealing with them, having an extreme lack of confidence in what it is they're doing. But I've also not had anywhere near the level of confidence I've had with them with any other agency out there. If that tells you what so like
fair
they're
enough.
say a 7 and everyone else I've dealt with has been a 3. You know what I mean? But I want them to be a 10. I really want them to be a 10, and I feel like they can be. I feel like they've been a bit of a 7. Yeah, but I think they're going to do good. I think they're going to get a lot of people, and I think the stock's going to go up because I want it to go up because I've willed it. I have used the secret, and I have intended for the stock to go up, and so now it must.
Is
Because
that
my
how that
intention is
works?
strong. Yes, the Force. I watch Star Wars, so. Next on the list is a fun one. ORPH.
ORPH has no information. It's a pharmaceuticals major and health technology corporation. They don't even have a website linked for them.
Yeah, I know they have.
I can't tell you a thing about them.
Got to Google their name. Get to their website. Right. Orphazyme. Orphazyme? Orphazyme? It's interesting.
Do we have here? All right. Pioneering a new kind of treatment. Orphazyme is pioneering the development of a new type of medical treatment by applying our specialized expertise in heat shock proteins, a key component of the body's natural cellular stress defense system. By leveraging the potential of heat shock proteins, such as heat shock protein 70, HSP70, if you guys want the technical term, we are advancing treatments for patients living with a range of neurodegenerative orphan diseases. These diseases can have a devastating impact, and a lack of existing approved treatment options leaves a substantial gap in care today. So they're trying to make a treatment for that, but they're also trying to make it an approved option of treatment because apparently there is treatment functions based off of this statement, just some that are not approved. Sounds like some back alley transactions, if you ask me. But why are we looking at them?
So the other day, on June 10th, this thing moves from $5.31 in one day up to $77.80.
The fuck?
And then closes the day at 20, 21, 20, whatever, 21. So you can tell this story a variety of different ways. One, this stock was at $5 and it jumped to 20 in one day. That's substantial, right? Or you could tell the story of this thing was at $5 and it jumped to almost 80, 78, which means that a lot of people bought in around here. All these levels from 78 down a lot of people got involved in this and now own it. It was halted multiple times. And so, at the 17, 18 level, there's a bunch of people who want to get out and get their money back. At the $48, a bunch of people want to get out and get their money back. And there's people at the 74, 75 range that want to get out and get their money back, right? And there's other people who want to get something. What happened on the 10th? I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't think there was a direct reason. It jumped up almost 1,387% in one day. That's insane, right? 300% regular session, launched intraday, running, no announcement made by the company. They're like, we don't know.
What?
We don't know what's going on. Who knows what's happening?
Is this a new deli setup, but in Denmark?
No. This is a sign of things to come, I think. So they have something, right? Don't they have something coming? Yeah, on the 17th. You're on their website. Check their press releases real quick. I think there's
Global Investors and Media. Let's take a look here.
This page.
Latest announcements. Orphazyme addresses recent trading activity, June 11th. Orphazyme announces top-line data from pivotal trial of the
What day is that?
That was May 7th, so that was like a month in the past. Yeah, the only recent activity is that they address the trade. Let's see. Came out of Copenhagen on June 11th. Let me open this up a little bit. Let's see. A late-stage biopharmaceutical company pioneering in heat shock. Yep. We've been over that. Rare diseases. Okay. Experienced extreme volatility and price. I mean, I love that they're using it as a description. And trading volume. The company is not aware of any material change in its clinical development programs, financial condition, or results of operations that would explain such price validity. Sorry.
So this is what we do know. Out of nowhere, this stock goes through the roof, right? Now
and they don't have any info.
This is most likely, once again, caused by retail traders, right? And a stock that has average volume of 7 was at 25 today, and it's no volume, I guess. Market cap 458 million, and this thing just goes through the roof. So either retail traders really went in all in on this, or there's a bunch of institutional money and big money out there that saw what was happening because retail traders started to move it, and they were like, oh, time to go, guys, let's hop in. Because you got to figure, right? You got $1 million. And retail traders start going crazy, going, this thing's going to cure everything. And they're like, yeah. And then, the big money waits, sees retail put it in, sees the stock start to move past. There's probably a point where it moves past a reasonable level. And they're like, okay, this is it. And it's probably, I don't know, say right here. And then they go, all right, here's $1 million in the stock. You know what I mean? Not in one shot. They do it in bites, but whatever. And just keep pushing this thing all the way up. Now they know what number they're going to get out, and they just plan on getting out. And I don't know, whatever. And then they get out, and then there's still a bunch of retail that's left in here, and their money disappears. I don't know. I don't know if that's it. I don't know if it's because somebody thought it was going to go this high on the 17th, and when it started moving up, they went, oh, it's already here. They must have got approval. So I'm guessing, my best guess on this is that if it does get approval on the 17th, that it's going to at least see in the 28 range, right? So
which is going to suck for anybody that got it above $30.
Yeah, and it may even go higher than that. It may not even touch that. I don't know. I feel like 28 is a safe bet, though, to watch for around the 17th if it gets approval. If it doesn't get approval, then who knows? You know what I mean? But if it gets approval, I feel like this thing can. There was enough interest. Like someone's like Monday night's preview of this show is going to be X amount. So many people watched the commercial and liked it and shared it, and then the show actually comes out. They can expect a certain amount of people to actually watch the show based off of the popularity of the commercial. I feel like this is the commercial. Gauging the market's participation in this. And I can't remember if it's Alzheimer's or if it's cancer or what they're curing, or I don't know. All I know is that it probably will go way past this and go to the moon.
No,
Some
it's not.
crazy,
It's not going to the moon.
insane number up here, but I won't know, because what'll happen is I will watch this on the 17th. I will see if it gets approval, and if it gets approval, I'll probably buy in around here because it will have already gone up. So 16, 17, and I will probably make my exit around 20. So this is probably where I'm gonna leave, and my guess is this where I will get in. Something like that. This is really bad that I'm putting these in here, because normally
putting the lines in here.
Yeah, normally I don't put
Man.
the lines in unless I plan on doing it, but I do. I do plan on. I'm gonna watch this. If it gets approval, I'm gonna jump in, because I'll tell you what. If it gets approval, I don't think it's gonna drop below 10. I think it is going to raise, and if it goes to 15, drops down to 10, then sucks for me. You know what I mean? But if it jumps to whatever kind of crazy nonsense, maybe I sell half at 28, and I don't know. I don't know. It's worth watching. It's an interesting thing, because I feel like we got a glimpse of the future, of the potential future. Because imagine what
For
happens
this specific stock.
for this specific stock. Because it goes up, it goes through the roof, and they're like, why? We have no clue. Don't know anything. And it comes back down to reality instantly, right? We're talking one day this mishap occurs, just like that. One day in and out. And in fact, during the day is where most of it left. And it closed at 20. So maybe 28 is too much. Maybe 28 is I'm being foolish. I think something more reasonable, I think, is going to be there. And then I'll also put my 28. Jeez, can't even get it in there. There we go. Put that.
That's what she said.
Jeez. So yeah, put those in there. I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth keeping an eye on. It's one of those things that popped up out of nowhere, and everyone was too late. So it's also a panic. It's a sheer panic of, here's this stock that's going through the roof. I got to get in. Do I get in? I get in. And then people just start buying and buying. And the people who don't buy, when it's at 6 and it goes to 8, 9, they're like, oh, now I buy it. And they buy it 9. That's how you end up being a bag holder, but it's also not. People still make money that way. So it's always funny, because people look back on situations like this and they go, yeah, it's the person who saw it at this and didn't get in until here, and then they bought it and then they sold it. Yeah, it's the person who bought it at $77 and lost all their money. I'm a genius now because I know that. We're just looking at the past. The real trick is,
Hey, they didn't lose all their money. They lost like $50.
You don't know. You don't know.
That's a good point.
You don't know how much they put in
Go
there.
ahead, put $1 million. Put $1 million. Go, go, go. Yeah.
That
would suck.
You hear about it.
That would suck.
I mean, you think about it, and it's not far-fetched to think about. Look, regular gambling alone is already something that people got to worry about. But, you see the separation of the income inequality that everyone always talks about. It's not only a result of like rich getting richer or poor people getting poorer. It's in the classes moving further away. It's also a result of people looking at, oh, this person made $5 million on GameStop. I like $5 million. I would like that in my pocket, in small, unmarked, food stamps, and so people make large bets, and they mortgage their house and bet it all on ORPH.
I need the large food stamps so that I can go to the deli.
Yeah, the large ones. Yeah. Going there. Do you guys accept these food stamps from 1980?
Yeah, I still got them in the booklet. They're mint condition, straight out of my garage.
That's got to be worth money. That's okay.
I mean, they probably are. I mean, a lot of people collect currencies, but how many people remember them?
I don't know. I do. Food stamps. Food stamp coupon $1 in cereal and month code will vary. Oh, okay. $12. Yeah, but for how much? Novelty food stamp book reprint. No, I don't want no BS. I want the real deal. That's it. That's the real deal. I recognize that. $21.95, a full $2 book. Oh, dang.
Mint.
Ooh,
Says it right at the end.
Mint. This one's it is green, so is mint flavored? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows these things?
It's still funny though.
Nobody knows these things. All right. We got another one. IPOF.
Yeah. See what info these guys have. Hey, we're in luck. They got some information for us.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Social Capital. Sophia? Yeah. Sophia Holdings Corp. That's a weird name. Let's see. Operates as a development stage company. It was formed for the purpose of effecting a merger, share exchange, asset acquisition. That's what I get for no sleep. Share purchase, reorganization, or similar business combinations with one or more businesses. The company was founded by Chamath Palahapitia, probably getting that wrong, and Ian Osborne on July 10th, 2020, and is headquartered in Palo Alto, California. That's all I got.
Anybody who's been in IPOF probably knows the pain, suffering that has been this stock. So it's a SPAC, and it's one of many of Chamath's SPACs, and he's just like listed 6 more, 9 more, 200 more SPACs coming out. I don't know. And so a SPAC is like a blank check company, and it's got to merge with another company like Ride did. And IPOF has not merged forever. And it's got almost $1 billion market cap, or it had $1 billion market cap at one point. And, there we go. 1.4 billion. I think I had 2 billion. So 1.4 billion is the market cap. It's SPAC, so you get the $10 level, and it experienced at one point, well, at least closing off the almost 16, so 15 was pretty steady, I guess. Yeah, all in there. And at its height, like 1784, and nobody knew what's it going to be. What's it going to merge with? Who knows? Well, rumors are Equinox. It's the only rumor that I think is current, and even then, it may have already been found out that it's not going to be. Maybe it's not going to be Equinox. I don't know. It's some fitness company. I don't know if it's going to be this. I don't know if that rumor's been disproved or what it is. But we do know that they are going to merge with somebody, and he has to announce it within a reasonable amount of time. Like I think they're running out of time to do something with IPOF and IPOD. So I guess the same vein as you have IPOD, and so no new news on this. So there's no news on either of these, other than the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I feel like, and most people would agree, that it's eventual that this should do decent. A fair statement. On top of it being eventual that it will do decent, it is past due for a merger. And because it's past due for the merger, I feel like that time, I feel like we're here. I feel like it's coming. It's only a matter of time. I think you needed to give some reports or something, or it's going to get delisted. So he has to pay attention to it anyways, because other things are pulling him in that direction. And I think we're about to get something from this. And I think I was in it and I held for a long time and I got rid of it. And then I just got back into both of these because once again, I feel like it's a matter of time. And if I got to sit on it for a few weeks, fine. But it better not be more than a few weeks, because then I'll probably get rid of it. And if I do, yeah, my money will probably be safe somewhere between $9 to $11.
To answer your question, Virgin Galactic
Space
completes merger with Social Capital Hathaway.
That's SPCE. SPCE
that's
is one
also
of his
back
other
in
specs.
October of 2019.
Which they're doing good. They're at 36.50. He sold, I think, around here, around 23 or around here. One of these drops, Chamath sold all of his shares in Virgin Galactic. So SPCE is Virgin Galactic. It's the SPAC. Chamath sets it up. It merges with Virgin Galactic. And then at one point, he's like, I'm selling all my shares so I can do some other stuff with the money. And the market's like, oh, shit. And so it dives, right? Because he sold all of his shares. And it recouped, and it has contracts, and it's doing good. And he told everyone, he's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. But they still sold anyways because the market is fickle. And so, yeah, that's space. And now we have IPOF. So it may drop after the merger too, but then it will go up. So I feel like this is an easy, double up over maybe 2 months, which I doubt I'll hold it that long. But I don't see why that would be unreasonable to ask for, Chamath, if you don't mind, please. I would like to see it, merge with something super cool, a fitness company. I was hoping to see Starlink or something else, but
you're asking for way too much right now.
I think I am.
You haven't even drawn your lines.
I have old lines for this one that I got rid of. And who knows? And I can't draw my lines on it other than yeah, right there. So we'll be conservative and right there. 1781 is where I get out, stop on it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that in a very reasonable amount of time. And I think I can at least hold out to this as boredom doesn't, catch me. And I already got in. It's obvious where, because it's been at the same point, basically right around there. So anyways, that's IPOF. Now, the thing everybody is talking about, the king of the jungle, AMC. Used to be GME, and now it's AMC. Which way does it go? Up, down? Who knows? I drew lines going both ways. What will do that? What will that do? Do the simulation? I don't know.
I feel like we're going to see a horizontal shift. Obviously, that's not what you want to look for.
Like just keep going sideways like this forever?
For a day or two.
I think it's very possible. But I also think it's possible for it to drop. I've been betting on the fact that it's going to drop. This is not my smartest move, okay? This was the first, I think, options I've ever done was a decision to try and short AMC. So that tells you, and it is a great time to remind everybody, we're definitely not financial advisors. And if we were, you shouldn't take our advice anyways because it's not good.
Speak for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, buy all. All right?
Yeah, I think I got an option here that it would go down to 12 on the 25th. Yep. And it did not. Continued. And then I was like, oh, maybe I have this in the wrong spot. Maybe it's here. And then it started showing signs of life. And I should have got the hell out of it, but I didn't. And this brokerage is constantly now, like, 2 more, 1 more on a constant basis. You're going to get hit with pattern day trading. So I had this this account very high risk and was in and out of CLNE too much, and so I have to take it down a few notches. Hence the BBSI, something that I could chill out with for a little bit. Hopefully the MACD, the Mickey D. But this one right here, I've considered that short that I did, just the money's gone. It's pretty much all gone anyways, and hopefully it goes down and I get some money back, but I doubt it. And hopefully it doesn't go down. Honestly, I hope the damn thing goes up and I lose the money that I put into it and this thing continues to go through the roof. There's a talk about a 22% potential squeeze on this, a gamma squeeze coming up, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And a lot of people very confident that it hasn't even squoze yet. And so if the squeeze hasn't squozen on this, then squeeze on, squoze on.
Get your squoosh.
Squoosh it up. Now that's
Fresh hot squoosh.
Sell some of that on the side of the street. You make some money. Sell it right outside of GME or an AMC building. Fresh hot squoosh. Get your squoosh. Squeeze on. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of this one. RLBD. Okay. RLBD, but I want you to look at this chart again real quick. So, yeah, okay. I guess it's... So there's this chart. Now we're going to look at RLBD,
which is the Real Brands Incorporated. It's a brand building company in the hemp derived CBD industry. It develops consumer products in the following categories: smokables, edibles, and topicals. The company was founded on November 6th, 1992, and is headquartered in Pompano Beach, Florida.
I like the beach.
But Florida's beach?
I love Florida. I talked a lot of shit about Florida my entire life because I had never been there. I went to Florida, watched SpaceX launch, went to Destin for the first time. It was nice seeing clear water. I'd never seen real clear water. That was interesting. Ended up taking another trip down to Florida and went to Cocoa Beach and stayed down there, and the flight got delayed. The space launch got delayed. So we ended up staying like an extra week down there. Went to Disney World, which was horrible and just a bad experience all around. And I never want to go back to another theme park, let alone Disney World, ever again. But the beach, Cocoa Beach, was unbelievable. The whole area, it reminded me a lot of San Diego. Only the property down there, far less expensive. Probably not for long, but far less expensive, and a lot of country really close by. A lot of gators everywhere, you know. Gators.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of gators.
There was a gator attack when we were down there. I got to saw the Starship getting transported. No, the SpaceX Starship when it was getting
Enterprise.
It was getting transported. I hope they call it that. That would be awesome. Got to saw an actual launch with the Falcon and come back down for reentry. It was awesome. It's a great time. Great time. I would strongly advise anyone. It's both a what's the word when you see something massive, a humbling experience, and at the same time, I don't want to say a letdown, but there's a point where you're watching it and you're like, okay, this happened. Here's the launch, and that's it. You keep expecting something more because it's such a massive idea, spaceship launching. You know, I'd never seen a spaceship launch into space
just like Old Faithful.
Yeah, just like Old Faithful. But there is still this thing that is like, oh my God, they just, you know, like launched this thing off the rock and into the sky. Or it's totally fake news. It could be fake news and the world's flat and they never launched a rocket ship at all. It was just a firecracker that they shot up into space that was super loud. It could be. I've seen reports online. Who am I to judge? But I saw a rocket ship launch into space. My kid's seen it. And it was amazing. And we went swimming afterward, and we were swimming beforehand. It was just, yeah, Florida beaches are great. Love Florida. Love space. Real Brands Inc. Love Real Brands Inc. Because you see what this looks like, right? Can you see that chart? I'm gonna switch it real quick.
Yep.
This chart. And then we're gonna go and look at this chart. And then we're gonna go back to this chart.
AMC doesn't look similar at all. I don't see any similarity in the pattern in reference to the actual stock.
No?
Nope.
Let's overlay
Especially with what it shows me.
So I'm gonna use the compare tool. This is what I'm looking at. The timing. So I'm not saying that these are the two, but here is the truth, right? Two things are the truth that I know. One, groups of investors are investing in these stocks at the same time. They're discussing it on Reddit. They're discussing it on Discord. They're discussing it on CNBC. And so wherever you get your media intake from, whether you think it's right or wrong, it's been going on forever. Way before Reddit, people would watch, Bloomberg News.
The Onion News Network.
Yeah, and they would say AMC is what you're going to buy, and you should buy it. And then they buy it, and their 100,000 viewers, an X amount percentage of those people buy that stock, right? Well, if you look at this overlay of the chart, we have AMC we're overlaying. Yep. So AMC goes up on the 21st, or really the 22nd. And then it creeps, and then the 26th, it goes through the roof. 26th, 27th goes through the roof, right? Then it's doing it again, but it was doing it then. Meanwhile, while this is happening, this stock is not. It's staying flat. Now, when AMC drops, you see that this stock rises. So, and this is maybe not the right stock to do this with, but it's the one that I found. And there's more to it than this, but this is not a conspiracy. This is just a fact. If I buy a bunch of AMC and then I sell my AMC, right? Because a lot of people sold. That's why it went down, right? And if I sold, where is that money at? Did I take it home? Did I take my ball home? Am I done playing? Possibly. But a lot of people, no. A lot of people are taking that ball and they're going to another game. And so it looks like, it appears, and I'm not saying that they did, but I'm saying there is going to be other stocks that are going to show similar patterns. And if this is one of them, if my theory is correct, looks like when AMC falls, RLBD rises right after the bottom. Bottom's here. And then the next 2 days later, RLBD rises up. And then it begins to fall. And as it begins to fall, AMC begins to rise. And AMC falls. And it doesn't really rise, but it kind of does. It's hard to look at on here, but it looks like it kind of does, right? And now what's happening is AMC is going through the roof and has been. And the question that I have for myself is, if not RLBD, who is it that is getting that benefit after AMC falls? Because maybe AMC never falls, but it's likely that it's going to. All these charts, that's even if it squeezes all the way to the moon, it's gotta correct. It's gotta come down at some point. And when it comes down, when the stock falls, where is it going to go? Wait a minute. Is this right? What stock am I looking at? I'm looking at GME with GME. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell happened? RLBD, there we go. And then we'll compare it with GME. And look at that. I mean, not the same thing. In this stock, it does not fit the profile. It's the start of a hunt. It's the start of a hunt of trying to find out, is there like a standard security that this is going to after they spend it on? And so what that security very likely is, and is for a lot of people, is SPY.
So, but just real quick though, I mean, you're essentially banking on AMC to flop for you to make a profit off of RLBD.
Kind of.
Not flop,
kind of.
but take a small dive.
Yes. What I'm not banking on anything yet. I'm starting the hunt for when a meme stock falls, is there a correlated stock with it that consistently rises afterward? Can I find where that money's going on a regular basis? Because a lot of people who trade stocks trade the same stocks again and again and again. So a lot of people bought AMC at, say, 10. I'm just saying a number. Buys AMC at 10, sells AMC at 50, spins that money over to the SPY afterward, And if they do that, and then they buy in again in AMC at 15 or 20, and then sell at 60, 70, and then they go back into SPY. And so everyone does their own thing a little bit differently, but is there a pattern that I can find with where the money's going afterward? And if that pattern can be found, then you can pretty much watch AMC begin to fall, or GME, or whichever one it's connected with, and say, okay, it's beginning to fall. There's a point now where I should buy this other stock. And if it doesn't rise up like I'm thinking, it shouldn't fall, but it could. Who knows? It's all quasi as a, right?
I mean, I can see where you're thinking at this logically. So I mean, that's
it's pretty far-fetched.
Definitely, not necessarily. I mean, you're noticing a pattern and you're attempting to connect that pattern with another one to see if it's connected. So you're basically taking the pieces and attempting to complete the puzzle with it flipped over and the pieces not exactly matching.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I mean, hey, that's stocks, so yeah. Sure. But
the SPY.
You mentioned SPY.
The SPY. Okay, so the SPY is doing extremely good. It's at 425 right now. It's
Then why does my topic for today say the SPY is falling?
Yeah, because it has to at some point, right?
I mean, based off the Mac Daddy,
it has consistently. So I think everyone's waiting for the 30s crash, the crash that they had in the 30s that just went, insanely bad. I think everyone's kind of waiting for that to occur. But in the middle of that happening, like most stocks, especially stocks that have a consistent trend upward, they have a healthy correction on a fairly regular basis, right? So it goes up here on the 21st, drops all the way down to here. It's up, then it goes down, then it goes way up, then it goes down a little bit, back up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I guess there's one down here, but I feel like it went up twice. It had been going up and down, up and down, up and down. I feel like it went up twice, enough to see a similar move that it did here, which was February 16th. And then if we go to this one, it's about half of that, what I'm on it. That's about half. Yeah, so I feel like it missed this drop right here.
No. You see, if you go to the left there, you can see it, the little red line there right before you get to the next one, that small groove. That's where it dropped. That was the first one.
Wait, that one?
Nope. Just like the 16th of May, maybe 15th.
All right, I got the 14th and the 17th of May.
14th. Whatever that red
Okay.
one is. It's got a very, very small dip, but it's still a dip.
It's still a dip. And then it dips again on June 1st. June 1st,
yeah.
June 2nd, technically, to the 3rd, it did a dip. But that's what I'm saying. I think that dip on the 2nd wasn't as long, wasn't as far down as it was naturally supposed to be, let's say. And so we're still going to get it. We're still going to get that drop. It's still coming. And so I don't think that the market's crashing. I don't think that the world is coming down to its knees. I think that we're about to experience at least a good 9-8 years of an extremely bullish market. We may have some substantial drops right before them, but I think we're about to go into the roaring 20s. But I think that during that ride on the way there, we're still going to feel corrections. And I think that the SPY is ready to give us a correction as of tomorrow. And I think that correction is going to take us down at least to 406. At least 412.
Now, with looking at SPY and obviously seeing it's very consistent in reference to going up, if it does drop, would you get in it?
I'm in it right now, but I'm betting it's.
Then why do you want it to drop?
I have puts against it that it's gonna. I'm betting that it's gonna drop. So right now
I'm betting it's gonna drop, and the pattern shows it could drop. Why would you not just sell it?
I'm betting that it's gonna drop. Well, no, I'm playing an option that is betting that this is going to be at 417 by 618, which is not correct
4 days
on my number 419. So, but I'll be selling the option before it gets there, and the option was up this morning, and now it's corrected because even though we dropped and we were going down, looks like we closed higher, and I feel like I had already marked it that the fall would begin tomorrow. So, you made it. You're alive.
Yeah.
Camera's a little low. So I bet the SPY is going to fall. And when I thought that, when I was like, oh man, the SPY is going to fall, I immediately thought, my first instinct was, oh my God, I'm an Apple. And so the SPY is TF made up of other stocks, and we got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, get off of there, Google, Google, and GOOG, which is Google, the other one, and then Berkshire Hathaway B, the less expensive one, JPMorgan, Tesla, and Johnson Johnson. And so I went across that list, and I was up on Apple, I think 1% since I had last purchased it, but down year to date on it. But I was either way, I kind of looked at Apple and was like, I don't trust this situation, because I feel as though Apple has it did had a good chance to increase. In fact, my mark was 133. So yeah, I feel like it's going to kind of follow this channel right here, but I didn't trust it. And I had been in Apple so long. And so I think I sold 129. I remember, I think it was at 129 for most of the day. Well, at least for a while. Yeah, most of the day it was at 129 or so. So it looks like it got up a little bit more, and it may continue. But those falls for the SPY to drop, right? If the SPY is going to drop down to where I think it's going to drop down to, then these stocks have to drop as well, right? And so if they drop, where's the drop coming from? And Tesla's in there, right? So a lot of people think Tesla is going to fall, but and I do have Tesla down as falling as well, but like by 2% or some nonsense. So the length of this purple line doesn't matter. The path that it's on matters to me. And this is just tracking the fall of the SPY. So it's potential, I guess, as to where it could fall. But Tesla just showed a picture of them playing Cyberpunk in the Tesla.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, where they're adding the gaming functionality to the vehicles.
Yeah, and they did it. There's unless that's a fake photo. I think that's the same photo, but there's a video or a photo of somebody playing. I think it was Elon posted it, of somebody playing. What do you call it? Cyberpunk in the Tesla, and that's really cool, right? I mean,
it's cool in the sense of if you have a self-driving car, you can play it, or if you're, for instance, a passenger. But imagine the passenger's playing a game right there while the main individual is driving. That's distracting as hell.
that's true.
Maybe it only lets you play if you're parked, or it switches to the back monitor for a passenger.
I'll tell you what, if you if you're taking the Tesla on a road trip and you're pulling any time where you feel like you are going to be in the car for an hour, or more on a regular basis, like waiting, maybe a sales call or whatever it is, because I'm sure a lot of salespeople get Teslas because it just makes sense, gas and maintenance wise. But yeah, I think it's the way to go. Because
they have an integrated Xbox.
Is it?
It's an Xbox controller.
Well, I feel like if the spy's going to fall and things got to drop, maybe Tesla drops, but not too bad. So I went through all these trying to figure out where are the largest drops potentially going to come from. And who knows? But the three that fell on the sword, really, and it wasn't a big enough change, was realistically, I think, going to be JPMorgan, because if not everything falls, then something else has to fall more. And so I don't trust JPMorgan right now.
Or Johnson Johnson.
Well, what I really didn't, Johnson Johnson. They
kill people.
I think I have them as being just a regular, tracking regular through this. Believe it or not, it's following that, but it's the drop by the date of the spy call that I made. I think I pinned them at 163. So yeah, it's not a substantial drop during that period of time if it follows the same path as the spy. Now, which ones did follow, if they followed that path? And this is a really bad way of doing stuff, by the way. I do not think that this is the way any of this should be done, but it is the only thing that I have to go on when I got to make a choice is whatever crazy ass idea I can convince myself that, yep, checks out, makes sense. And
yeah, this looks accurate.
This looks accurate, right? I drew the lines. They're going down. Look at that. You got the 65 right there. You got the 200 moving right here. It came down to the 200 in March. Even if it wants to keep going up, it's got to come back down. It's got to see this, and it's got to see this. Now, it may see it here and here, but as this thing moves, this has eventually got to touch it. And I feel like it was ready for a correction, and is one of the larger. So if we go to the 19th, 18th, whatever, 328. Yep, that's my number, 328. So I had a short Facebook too. And then the other one that wasn't in this basket, but kind of led me to looking at all this, was CNBC and Kramer talking about Goldman Sachs and the banks. And there was this, maybe I misheard him, but it was something about getting to the banks and so smart and buying the banks and blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And so I instantly shorted Goldman Sachs because I was like, it's time for it to come down anyways, right? This correction, and I think if we go a little bit further, boom, there's another one. These are all about the same. This time in between is
like
different,
every other month,
right? Like it's about there, right? A couple of months, and then this thing's got to correct. And so, how far does it go down? And it appears that it crosses these two a little bit. Anyway, so my best guess during that period of time was that it would. They're not even on my chart. This one I just kind of freeballed, I think.
Well, you can't do that on stream, man.
Not allowed to free ball on stream. I'm out to the 25th is what it is. So the 25th on this one, and expecting to see it at 354, I guess. So I got 360 puts on 625. Felt like it was a pretty safe bet to go with. I normally do not touch options. Swore I would not touch options. Did not want to, but then I did the AMC option and lost my ass, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna. Plus, my account, and that's what the last stream was. Is that it looked like a Wall Street Bets subreddit is what my account looked like, and it still kind of does, but not as much. There's no McDonald's, the Wall Street subreddit bet portfolio. I don't think. I had to get a little bit creative. There's no BBSI in there. Tell you what, they're not talking about BBSI and Wall Street Bets. But they are, they may be talking about Goldman Sachs, definitely talking about SPY and AMC, and probably Facebook's come up in the conversation. And I'm still in CLNE and some options. I got rid of the stocks finally. But yeah, so I took some risk out in some crazy ass stocks and took them into probably riskier options because I guess I'm trying to blow up the account. That's what you have to do to gain entry.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, let's indeed cross our fingers.
But I brought dynamite in case.
It's too late. I don't have any money for dynamite. Spent all my money. I'm still holding on to BlackBerry here. So that is my story about SPY and the SPY falling and all the other things attached, which are related directly, except for the Goldman Sachs is not related, other than the fact that I feel it's in the same, fire, everyone running around with like a chicken with their heads cut off. I think that's the next, week. There's a lot of, oh my God, what's going to happen? I think we're going to see a lot of that over the next week. So
let's hope not. And, if it does,
I hope it does.
There's not a lot we can do except for watch.
Or
now
buy puts.
I would recommend, of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, run as fast as you can out of ride. They are going down. Now, other than that, the SPY could be falling. The roaring 20s are here. It's not that it's going to happen. It's that it's here. Because again, as mentioned earlier, we find that history repeats itself. It may not be with the same individuals, but it's the same shit, different toilet. That's pretty much what it is. So, in conclusion, buy a Tesla, get a free gaming console. The most expensive gaming console you'll ever buy.
That may be incorrect.
But it also, gaming console, like it's inside the vehicle. Like I'm not specifying an Xbox. I think it's an
upgrade though. I don't think it's free.
Okay, buy a Tesla, pay for the extra stuff. I don't care if it's incorrect. I'm not a Tesla salesman. It's going to be the most expensive console that you've ever bought. And you can self-drive, drink, and play Call of Duty.
Yes.
Other than that, anything else you want to touch bases on for today?
No, that's everything that I got on my list right now that I care to talk about. Unless somebody wants to go out there and buy a bunch of Archon and kind of help me out here because it's weighing me down.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hey, Alon, shoot this one to the moon, buddy. You got the spare change. Well then, what's the DD here? As always, providing that due diligence. Hopefully, we'll see you guys next time when we go live, of course, with some more entertaining news And hopefully we'll have more coffee and be a lot more awake. But that's just me. However, bye for now, everyone.
Peace, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want Gary to get coffee. If you don't want him to get coffee, then dislike the stream. Peace.
I will still get coffee.
Oh, no, the people.